50's baby mama offered to do an all-star night where she would do 3 guys in one night for Diddy. What 304s won't do for men with money. They're not victims. They're 304s. When you're saying me too, I just want it to be uncontrollable. I'm always ready to freak off. Wish we could have freaked off before you left. How are you a victim? I can't wait for the next freak off. I know me too. I can't wait to have your baby. I can't live without you. Where's the victim here? There's a name for females who are willing to exchange their body and all types of freaky sexual acts for money and gifts. We don't call them victims. We call them something else. Men who don't want to work, but they look for rich, powerful men to take care of them. She offered to do an all-star party where she would do the top 3 guys all in one night. Diddy and Cassie had their freak-offs under alias names. His was Frank Black, hers was Jackie Star. The rooms were booked under Frank Black. She went by Jackie Star. She wore a wig so that they would not be recognized. If you join the name Frank with Jackie, you get Frankie. And that's the name she named her firstborn, to commemorate the freak-offs with the man she loved. She named her firstborn, her daughter, Frankie Stone Fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, the moment you've all been waiting for, all the way from New York City. Her name is Cassie, y'all. Yeah, come on. Yeah, rock with it now. Come on. Yeah, talk to him, Cassie. I like to hear my records in the club, and that's actually how I ran into Cassie. Cassie was actually her and her girls dancing on a table somewhere, and she said, "Hey, my mom for her birthday wants to hear what I sound like on record, and she knows we're hanging out, and can we put something on record for my mom?"
But she never sang before that.
She said, "Hey, my mom would like to hear, what I sound like, on record. Could we do something for her?" I said, "Yeah." The first time we got in the studio, Cassie didn't really understand the recording process. Was you got to take it over and over and over again, etc. And she wanted to go out, and so I said, "Okay, you could just leave, and I'll sing the second verse, and then at least we have a finished song we can send to your mom." So the second verse had me on the song, and I finished producing it and everything. So I gave the speech when I graduated from Harvard, and he was the same age that I was, and he was like, "Man, have this concept around MySpace, and I feel like it could be valuable to you." I said, "Well, what you mean?" He said, "Well, MySpace has these music charts," and he's like, "I control the music charts." So what you mean you control the music charts? He said, "Well, the way it works is that I can control what results show up on Google for the MySpace keyword. So MySpace.com is obviously going to be the #1 Google search result, but any MySpace music profile I want can be #2, #3, #4, #5. And he said, "So, what do you want to do with this? I'll do all the MySpace Google magic for y'all in return." And so once again, it always comes down to finding that right collaborator. Nobody really does it on their own.
Yeah.
And so, man, we watched Cassie's profile on MySpace. It became the #2 Google search result for MySpace, in case anyone Googled the word MySpace.
Wow.
And we watched her music profile. She was just always #1 on the MySpace music charts. Now, I was doing everything that I could to make sure, though, that that record was not just an online record. So one of the Bad Boy Street team, Rich Dollars was his name. He actually said, "Yo, Ryan, man, let's run this up in the clubs. And I said, okay, how much does it cost? So, I got some money. Let's run it up. And so basically, we went around the clubs in New York City, and because he was part of the Bad Boy Street team, anywhere Puffy was, this record, we were, taking care of the DJs, and they were spinning it 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the clubs. Yeah.
I remember the day that Kim Porter found out about Cassie. I want to blame myself a little bit about it because I was on duty. It was my watch. I want to say I was in Central Park, and at this time, it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't no more cameras allowed. That person got a picture. Yo, go get that camera, yo. It was that type of thing. Like, it was one day that we was in Central Park, and this motherfucker decides that either he want to put his hand in the back of Cassie's pocket or Cassie want to put her hand in the back of his pocket. Somebody got the picture. And he was like, yo, boss. And I'm like, oh, man. And I couldn't get the camera.
Now I gotta go hunt.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Somehow, some way, Kim seen that picture of Cat. I think it might have been in the newspaper the next day or something like that. Kim packed up everything. She packed up the twins. She packed up everything. Nobody knew where the she was at. When I tell you the whole house was empty in a matter of hours, the whole house.
Puff was in an intimate relationship with Cassie while still with Kim Porter, and you understood it and you knew that was going on.
Oh yeah, I definitely understood it and knew it. But one thing Puff would tell you is I'm not married.
And what about Sean Combs, Puffy P. Diddy, the man who courted controversy, if not outright danger? He always seemed to be the one in control. We wondered, looking at the girl on the red carpet, who was she? Was she afraid?
No. I don't think she was afraid. I just think that I, at that time, was cared very deeply for Sean, and we just didn't have the same kind of ideals about life and family and stuff like that, and just wasn't a good relationship for me. It didn't have so much to do with him as it had to do with me at the time. I had to learn to care about myself a little bit more and put up certain boundaries of what I would accept and wouldn't accept.
Jennifer Lopez.
Both of you guys were using drugs, but Diddy was still able to run multiple businesses and ran down a list of everything he was doing. He was more functioning. And she was like, yeah, I mean, you can say that. And then they go into having a conversation about the fact that at one point in time, Puff was calling drug dealers and telling them to stop serving Cassie because she was so bad off. She was worse off on drugs than he was. And Cassie admitted that was happening.